Hey, it's Big Game James McCarty, the sports director at Flag Family Media. We're here now with head coach Tim Bergstraser of the MSUM men's basketball squad. Man, it's the preseason preview, but you guys last season went 25-7. You won back-to-back NSIC conference tournament championships, and you made another berth in the national tournament. Where do you go from there in year number 2?
Well, you embrace that you had one heck of a year with some very outstanding older guys with that 5th or 6th year with that COVID stuff. But like I said, you appreciate it because it doesn't come around a lot. And then you get to work because, I mean, we knew that we were losing 4 high-quality basketball players. We loved the returners that we had. But we did believe that, hey, like there's some gaps that need to be filled or, we need a little more competition and challenges in practice. So me, Spencer, and the staff, I mean, we hit the phones very hard, and we understood that, we love our returners. We think they'll be really good, and they have shown some good things here. But, we want to try to find a way to keep competing at a high level as one of the best leagues in the nation.
And when you look at some of those guys coming back, whether it's Logan Kinsey, Gabe Myron being able to be healthy again, Jacob Benninga, and being able to just kind of become a more vocal leader, what do those guys, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody, bring to the table as returners in this program? Dane Zimmer is another one, for example.
Yeah, those are obviously, it's no secret, those will be guys that we're going to rely on. Jacob, Gabe, Logan, Dane, those have been the primary guys that have had more experience. And, having Gabe back has been refreshing, and I'm just happy for him because he just couldn't catch a break last year. He only played in like half our games. But it's like the leaders we had last year. We haven't talked a lot about last year. There'll be glimpses just to remind them, like, hey, what they did last year was special. And they brought it every single day with their actions and their voice. And now it's time for guys like right now in the program to kind of just take action and do that. So Jacob's one of those guys that he's just like a known leader. That's just who he is. So guys are really just going to gravitate to him in general. Dane's a little more quiet, so we got to try to kickstart him every once in a while, but everybody's respecting him on just his action. Gabe's done a great job just speaking up, and I'm trying to get on Logan as well, just to, hey, like, it's a newer role for him this year, but hey, you got to step up and be a voice for this program because guys are going to trust him because everybody knows he put in the work. So it's been kind of unique to see from the first day to where we were to where we're at now. We've already had 2 scrimmages now to see guys develop and getting a little more out of their comfort zone and not being, tentative to just speak up.
And when you look at a guy specifically like Jacob, he's the player to watch from MSUM in the preseason, and each year he seems to get a little bit better. Of course, when he came in, he had his older brother Johnny here. Now he has one of his younger brothers in Eddie. What kind of a leader is he expected to be, and what kind of a jump do you think he can take from being the NSIC conference tournament MVP, if I can spit that word out, and just keep improving on his game?
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a phenomenal year last year, and me and Cobb talked, and it's like we weren't surprised in what he did. I think other people were, but now it's like, all right, you got people's attention. Now what you gonna do? And he's wired in a way. He's gonna focus and do whatever is best to help his team out. He's even grown more so as a leader that I've seen this year. He was really good at kind of kickstarting guys, but now he's getting a little more edgy, which is kind of what we want out of him. But again, our guys know what they're gonna get out of him every single day. He's a guy we're gonna rely on. Everybody that scouts against us know he's probably gonna shoot 15 to 20 times in a game, and even if you're in his face or not. But I mean, he's just a privilege to coach, and he's one of those. He's an everyday guy. Whether he's playing good or bad, he'll do things on both sides of the floor. He opens things up for other guys too, even if he is scoring, a high game. But I mean, he's a special individual. I'm just very grateful to coach a guy like that because I'm a competitive guy and I get pretty edgy myself, and I'm a little different than others. But he's another one of those guys you're fortunate to go to war with because like you could tell like he just truly loves what he does.
Now moving over to you have 4. I think newcomers is probably the right word because I don't know how that whole transfer terminology actually truly does work, but there's 4 new names coming into this program that aren't freshmen. Can you tell us just a little bit, especially for the fans, a little bit about each of them and what they bring to the table so that when people go to Nemzik Stadium here, when they come over to the hardwood, they're going to be able to go, okay, I remember hearing that from Coach, and this guy's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, we were very happy with this offseason. We had some stuff before school started. Some guys decided not to stay, which is just fine. We still love what we have at our roster. But, Jacob Jennison, kid from Colorado State, 7'1" guy, he's dealing with some injuries at Colorado State. Local guy at Sox Center. He's been looking really good here so far and being healthy. And you think he hasn't played in like 3 years. But for him he looks healthy right now. He's playing better. And, we've loved what we've seen out of him so far. And he's a really coachable young man, too, and he works his tail off. Chris Dixon is a junior college transfer. We all knew, and he knew it coming in. He had to put a lot of weight on, and he's done a great job at that. He's a really good kid. He's always smiling. I told him that the other day. He's always happy, even if it is a bad day for him. But he's very talented, long, and athletic. I think we've done a good job in our program of just bringing in junior colleges or transfers, and they might not be great right away, but by the time, January, February comes around, they start clicking. So I'm really eager to see how he pans out. Jakir Sanchez, D2 transfer for us. Really good kid, very talented. Can do a little bit of everything, to be honest. He's with a lot of transfers, it takes time, like I was saying before, and these guys think it's just going to click like that right away, and that's really rare to see that happen. So, but he's really done a good job of just listening and trusting us as a staff, and every day you're seeing some glimpse of him just like understanding on how we do things. But he's pretty fun to watch. I mean, he had a pretty good game yesterday in our scrimmage, so I'm eager to see how much he keeps growing. And then Jameer Price, a kid from Cleveland State. He's talented young man, very quiet, but when it comes to competition, you want him on your side. So it's kind of an odd balance, kind of like Dane. Dane's always going to show up and be ready to play, and Jameer's the same way. He really cares about this game, and he's been I've recruited him since high school when I was in Quincy, and then I recruited him out of JUCO, tried to get him here, and it worked out in the end to finally get him here out of Cleveland State. But he's a very talented young man, could do a lot out of a ball screen, has a big-time heart when it comes to competition. Like, he really, really wants to win. So, we love what we have so far. The guys are gelling really well. I don't think we have a bad egg in our program right now. So that's the biggest thing for me. Like, yes, we're going to bring in some knuckleheads every once in a while, but we usually surround them with good people, and they come along in the right direction. But I like them right now.
As we look at this squad now this season as a whole, last year, like we said, all those seniors, all those 5th and 6th year guys, you were almost at times able to take a step back and just kind of let them do what they do because they had so much experience. Now this season, you bring in some experienced guys, you're going to have some younger guys making impacts. For you, Spencer, and the rest of the staff, what kind of adjustments do you guys have to make to be successful and maybe not directly repeat what happened last year, but try and kind of have that as one of those goals and keep building day by day?
Yeah, so all good coaches, they have to adapt and adjust, but we're really trying to stay to doing what we're doing, what we have been doing. I'm going on 8 years now, but we're not going to try to deviate too much from what we've done, and we try to recruit to our system the best we can. We'll actually have to adapt a little bit if we have to, but, offensively, it's all the same, to be honest. It's going to be no secret. We like to fly. We like to play fast. And Spencer, my associate head coach, I give him full autonomy to handle our offense. I'd kind of stay out of his way. So he's my offensive coordinator as well. But I like our pieces, what we've been doing so far. And everybody's been asking that, this offseason, how are you going to score like you did last year? We're not going to be probably as big at the guard spot. People see that. Lorenzo McGee was 6'5", Gavin Baumgartner was 6'5", Trevor Kaiser was 6'3", but he should be playing D1 football, whatever it was. But, our guards are a little smaller, but they're still athletic. They play physical, and they're quick. So I still think we can use that to how we've played in the past, too.
Before you go into conference games, your non-conference slate now, looking forward to it. You're going to Missouri, you're going to South Dakota, you go to Michigan, and then, of course, you begin conference play, I believe November 30th at Northern State. Don't want to talk too much about that right now, but what do you guys kind of want to see as a coaching staff from your squad in that non-conference slate, in those challenges, in those 6 games, a half a dozen, to really get yourselves amped up for conference play?
Yeah, well, we always schedule tough, so it's going to be we'll have a conversation here in like an hour as a team. We got a scout here because we're playing at Concordia St. Paul this Saturday. Don't tell anybody that, but we got to get going. There's no time to waste. It's going to be a really good test for us this weekend. But yeah, we're playing tough competition. There's no tune-up games for us. We're going into Kansas City next week, and we're playing Missouri Southern and Washburn, who are traditionally very good teams in MIAA and nationally every year. So we got to get going. And I told our guys it's gonna test our maturity a little bit. Being on the road for basically all November. That could, and they're gonna be long trips. 8, 9 hour, 10-hour trips. So we're gonna see how these guys handle maybe being a little tired off that bus, going into a shoot around at a different place, maybe a quick practice at a different place. Us just saying that, you wouldn't think it'd be that bad, but some guys that just aren't mature enough to handle that and kind of have success on the court and be ready to play. So, I really do think our guys are going to grow that way, but we schedule that way for a reason because, we want to, whether we win or lose them, we want to be competing in the national tournament at the end of the year. And, those games, games could help us if we're fortunate enough to win them. And they're going to prepare us for playing in our conference, which is obviously a juggernaut in itself. So those games will definitely get us ready. Hopefully we can sneak some out of there, but I'm just eager to see it. Everybody's saying, how are we going to be? I like what we're doing, and I like what I'm seeing, but you just don't know until you know sometimes.
And in wrapping up, like you had just said there, with conference play, the ultimate goal, what is that this season for this squad? Because Minnesota Duluth won the region last year. Drew Blair coming back for them. Northern State with Jackson Moning coming back. There's a lot of talent coming back into this conference. You guys now have the target on your back, along with Duluth a little bit. If you look at postseason play, what is that ultimate goal, and how do you think you guys can achieve that?
I mean, it's obviously cliche, but we're taking it one day at a time, and I've always been that way. I'm a vanilla kind of guy, or meat potatoes. If you want to shout out my man Nolan, but it's we got to show up every day, and we got to find ways to improve. There's going to always be some way that we got to get better in some form. If I could just try to find a way to make sure these guys are just staying hungry, never getting bored of the process, that's the biggest thing for us. And these young men do understand, okay, we like what we're doing right now, but compared to what we should be by the end of the year, okay, it's a long process. And there's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some dark days. And how are they going to handle that type of adversity? So, that's just the biggest thing, just continuous growth and, staying together through the tough times, because that's going to come. So I'm just eager to see, when we do get smacked with adversity, how are we going to handle that stuff?
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you for coming at your time. We always appreciate it. Good luck in the non-conference slate, and we're looking forward to another successful season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Big Game James McCarty, the sports director at Flag Family Media. Have a great rest of your day.